Hello friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you for tuning in. As you know, one of the things that I love are fish that interact with you. And it's part of the fun of the hobby for me, having fish that are not always darting away or hiding. And I've compiled a list here of my 10 most fearless fish, top 10 fearless fish. And I'd like to hear what you think your fearless fish are. But these are the ones that tend to interact the most with me. And the way I tested it is I walked up to the tank and more or less tested how they reacted to my finger going back and forth on the glass. They had just been fed a little while ago, so I was trying to eliminate that they were just looking for food. I wanted to see who was going to actually come up and be curious about what the heck was going on. And so here's my list of my of the top 10 fish that I currently have, my top 10 fish that are the most fearless, the most curious, and currently the most interactive. Let's go. So we'll go backwards, starting with number 10, and at number 10 we have my earth eaters, my Geophagus striped earth eaters. At first, when I first got those fish, they were very skittish and would dart away from me very, very fast. But as they put on size, their confidence has increased, and so they are on the list of the top 10. Number 9 is another fish that used to be very, very fearful, but has sort of gotten more and more swagger over time, and that is the green tear that I raised out from a little fry. This is a fish that I picked up from Brandon, who is on YouTube as Brandon the Blind Fish Keeper. Check him out on YouTube. That green tear, who's getting enough swagger now where I might even put him in the 210 gallon and see how he does. Number 8 is not a surprise to me, even though under normal circumstances she likes to retreat to her cave. But for just plain boldness, I wasn't really that surprised, and that is the Salvini. That Salvini is a very tough fish. I've heard that over time they develop some pretty formidable teeth, and the Salvini comes in at number 8 on the list. Number 7 isn't going to surprise you because they've always been interactive and up against the glass, and that is my 2 Oscars. In particular, the larger red tiger Oscar, who just loves to come up to the front. And when I hand feed, when I hand feed them from the top of the tank, he will jump out and latch onto my finger. One of these days, I'm going to get that on camera, and hopefully not lose any blood in the process. Number 6 was a bit of a surprise, and that's my Vieja. The Vieja has always been just a big, shy fish, but again, over time, by putting on size, gaining a little bit of a swagger, the Vieja has become more confident and now tends to hang around more around the front when I'm doing things around the aquarium. Number 5, and this surprised me as well because just from interacting with the tank, I thought other fish were going to be more up against the glass and following me around, but instead the Fusco, the Nimbochromis, my Fusco in the 300 gallon comes in at number 5. He was actually nipping at the glass, following me around, where normally I would have guessed that the living stoni or maybe the Venusis, right? I thought those two would be more likely, but it was the Fusco that was after my finger. The Buccochromis spectabilis, one of my favorite African cichlids, and the African cichlids you see in this tank, of course, are from the Cichlid Shack in Tempe, Arizona. But that Buccochromis spectabilis, spectacular fish, and actually much bolder than he was when I first picked him up a year ago. Same thing with that Bucco rhodesii yellow, who comes in at number 3. So at number 4 you have the spectabilis and the Bucco rhodesii yellow. Now that one doesn't surprise me because that fish has always had a bit of swagger, almost to the point where I had to take him out of the tank for a timeout at one point and let the let the Autopharynx tetrastigma get comfortable again in the tank before I could return the Mucochromis rhodesii yellow, who was chasing him around a bit. At number 2, again, probably not a surprise to you folks, are the betta fish, and in particular the what I call my red velvet betta fish, and that betta is very interactive, up against the glass, following me around, and the candy-colored one that I call Candy is also interactive, but not as bold as the big red velvet betta. Interestingly enough, none of the fish in the planted tank, the 55-gallon planted tank, are on the list, because except for one. There's one in there which I'm listing as number 1, and these could all be really in any order, but there's one fish that doesn't really care. This fish doesn't care if my hand's in the tank, doesn't care if I'm reaching in there or netting something or cleaning the glass. He just sits there and just stares at me like, hey, let me know when you're done. And I've even put my hand in the tank and petted this fish. Actually ran my finger along the back of the fish, and he just sort of sat there very calmly, like nothing. And that is my whiptail cat, my whiptail catfish. He is by far either the boldest and bravest or the stupidest of all the fish. I can't quite decide, but for now he is number 1 on my list of the 10 most interactive and bravest fish in my collection. What fish do you have that likes to interact with you? Tell me about them, and share your comments below, and we'll talk about this and a whole lot more on Saturday at the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. That's every Saturday at 11 o'clock Central. I'll put all the information here, and a great group of fish keepers talking about keeping fish, and all your questions answered live. And also, if you'd like to support the channel, consider becoming a member of the Garage Gang, a Patreon monthly supporter. It really helps out with special projects here in the garage, and trips and purchases and all kinds of stuff. So it's greatly appreciated. Big shout out to my Patreon members, all right, who are featured on the Saturday live stream. All right, thank you, my friends. You're the best. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.